So I realized that the last video must have come off as harsh. Well, it was harsh for me too. And like I said, I forgive those people, all of them, and like more. Oh, speaking of forgiveness. So I'm in my car last night and I woke up exactly at 3:33 because I looked at my phone to see what time it was. And there's a group of men like parked down from where I was. And then there was another group, like, but they were in their car. They weren't really out, and they had been there for hours, so they weren't making any noise really. And one of them left the group of guys that stayed in their car. And I mean, excuse me, that were in their car, but they were making a bunch of noise. Those guys left. And then as soon as they left, I could hear that the other one's making noise. So I decided to move me and Bella, just like, I don't want to deal with it. And I mean, it pissed me off, don't get me wrong. But then I get, like, I got us ready. I turn the car on and all. And I go to turn the car, I turn the car around and I get, just get my seatbelt on, turn on the lights, that kind of thing, headlights. And as soon as I point my car starts to point towards theirs, and I'm pulling forward so I can do a U-turn right there, which is totally normal. This guy pulls a gun on me. I'm not even kidding. Like, younger Hispanic guy, just didn't even, and before he even saw me, he pulled a gun. He must have had his gun out because he had it in his hand. You know what I mean? Pointed it right at me, and then Bella ran up behind me. I was like, because I don't really, like, me getting hurt is kind of one thing, but her, something else. So I just sat there for a minute, and I was just kind of like, I mean, when he pointed it at me, I yelled at him. I said, "What are you gonna do? Shoot me?" And he just left. His friend called him, and then they just left. They drove away pretty quickly up the hill, which is weird. Like, anybody who knows this area would not have gone up the hill. They would have gone down to get back into the city. But anyway, it pissed me off more than anything. More than anything, it pissed me off. So then I moved and went back to sleep. That's how that went. Took me a minute to get back to sleep, though. It took me like half an hour, 45 minutes. And usually, well, that's about how long it usually takes me to get to sleep, but still, I really was like, what the fuck? I mean, I had to think for a minute after they left because I didn't know what to do, like, I didn't want to stay there. And I wasn't going to call the cops because my fucking phone, in all its fucking wisdom, I didn't videotape, I grabbed my phone, but I took pictures. And so my phone is thinking it's night exposure because it's fucking nighttime outside, it's 3:33 in the morning. And so my phone's like taking this really slow picture, and so the exposure is really slow, and so the picture's super blurry. I mean, you can tell what kind of car it is, but not the license plate. So I'm like, I'm not going to call the cops. And more than anything, I would just like to see if I ever see that car again, you know what I mean? Because I'll see them before they see me, that's for sure. And I'm just like, so I moved. I didn't stay there, obviously. And then I turned my car around so, they wouldn't be seeing the back of it because they had seen, they were parked behind me, like catty corner to the side. And, I didn't want like my car to be identifiable, like, easily, not by civilians anyway. And, so I, am forward facing towards the road. So, nobody can see behind my car unless they fucking walk back there, which they're probably not going to do. So that was fun. I really was like, what the fuck? And you know what the funny thing is? I was mad, and at first I cursed him. I totally did. I totally cursed him. I cursed him. I was mad. Like, I was just mad that it was happening. I'm mad at him. I'm mad at the fucking, you know, I'm glad that his friend got him out of there. His friend yelled his name, and he turned around and left. You know, they all got in the car and left. And without, you know, no argument, nothing, just got and left. I don't think he was, I mean, I genuinely think he was scared. I don't think he was necessarily being violent. I think he was scared. Somebody hurt him or something. I don't fucking know. He runs with people that hurt people, or he's seen something. I don't know. But like I said, at first I cursed him. I totally did. And then shortly after I woke up this morning, I found myself praying for him. And I don't mean in some, like, you know, but like somebody who lives in that much fear is fucking lost. I mean lost. When you're willing to pull a gun on a car that's leaving, like, I didn't even pull next to them. You have to understand, I was like at least 20 feet away. I wasn't even close to them. I wasn't anywhere near them. I wasn't heading for them. I was obviously turning around. But anyone who lives in that much fear is lost. Like, so lost. And that's why, like, forgiveness. And it's not forgiveness. It's not like that. It's not like you just let them go, is what I mean. You don't hang on to, like, even everything that I talked about in the last video, which is, it was some horrible shit. And there's more. Like, I have a lot more stories. Like, you wouldn't believe my life is, like, full of that kind of shit. And I've had to stand up and fight against it and, you know, not be scared and be brave and, you know, all that kind of shit in the face of some really fucked up shit. And I know most people have gone through fucked up things, but, like, you know, I didn't put myself through those things, you know, like, I wasn't choosing to, like, when I talk about my stories, you know, they won't be, like, involved with drugs. We know when people, you know, things like that, like, when you're choosing to live a certain way, you can kind of expect to have some shitty things in your life. You know, that's just normal. That's normal. It's cause and effect. That's how that works. Low vibrational shit attracts other low vibrational shit. So, you know, you're going to get low vibrational shit. Up here, mostly, I would say like 95% of the people you run into are totally cool. You know, you do run into some jerks that, like, you know, just are in a bad fucking mood or whatever, but they're not like that big of jerks. You know, they don't like they won't do anything to you, you know. And then there's like the kid last night, and like, honestly, you know, after the anger wore off, I felt sorry for him. Like, not in some kind of like nice, pitiful, like, oh, I feel sorry for you. Like, and not even like in a sarcastic way, but I genuinely like felt for that kid because he's got to be like fucking miserable. Like, I can only imagine what kind of fear you have to live in. I mean, I'm sure I can imagine, more than imagine, what it takes to want to pull a gun. But like, the look on his face, he wasn't angry, he wasn't scowling. He looked at me and his eyes were wide and he was scared. I mean, he was scared. You know? I mean, I was kind of shocked. I was like, well, it's just me and my dog. You know? That's why what I said to him when I saw the gun, because I saw him with his hand, like, had it down here, like, not in his pants or anything, but he had it here. He was holding it here, and then he pointed it at me, and I was like, what the fuck, though? You know what? That's why I said, what are you gonna do? Shoot me? What are you gonna do? Shoot me? Really? Okay. Like, you know, I mean, I can't control what he's gonna do at that moment. And like, I mean, it shocked me to see a weapon in his hand of any kind, in fact, because you don't see that kind of shit up here. I mean, in general, people don't go up into the mountains. I mean, unless they are fucking killers or something, which there really aren't that many. But like, you know, you're not like a violent person. You know, even hunters aren't violent, but like, you know, I mean, we're all capable of that kind of thing. But, you know, you just don't see that, is what I'm saying. Like, you really just don't see people like that, you know. There's people up here, but like, you know, anybody who's involved in anything illegal up here, they want to keep their shit on the down low, so they're not going to pull a gun. You know what I mean? They're not going to do that. And nobody with them or employed by them is going to do that either, because that's stupid. That's drawing attention to yourself. So, anyway, you know, but I, like, seriously, you know, I had some weird dreams too. Of course, anyway. The physical sensations in my dreams were weird. Is the weird part about the dreams. Not the content necessarily of the dream in particular, but the physical sensations I felt in my two dreams I had last night. It was weird. And it was kind of like through the looking glass. I don't really know what else to say. It was weird, just like the rest of my life is fucking weird. Like, not a complaint, just an observation. Very strange. But yeah, once the anger wore off, I found myself forgiving him. And I mean, I ran through the whole, after he left, after they left, I ran through all the different scenarios. My mind went, with just a shit ton of scenarios that could have happened. And, frankly, I'm not much for speculation. I can speculate all the day long. And because I'm very intelligent, I can fucking think up some interesting shit. But it's not worth it. It's not worth it to, like, think on those things. And again, it's like, if I had gotten stuck on any of those different scenarios, that would have attached a thread of non-forgiveness to that person. And I think that, oh, that's somebody's bass. We set people free. We don't just set ourselves free, but we set each other free by forgiving each other. And I know that it's not easy. I know that it's damn near impossible. All I will say about that is that when you love yourself enough, or you love something else in this world, like a child or maybe an animal or something like that, not that I'm comparing children and animals or anything, but that kind of love, that you just fucking love that thing. You just love it. Maybe it's your job, or I don't know, whatever that is, for you, that brings you joy. Like, no matter what, no matter how hard times are, this one thing picks you up. And, when you have love like that for yourself, it's much easier to forgive other people. I think that at least where I got stuck was, I could forgive, I thought I was forgiving other people, but like the real forgiveness started for me when I started forgiving myself for things. Because it wasn't like, I didn't feel like God hadn't forgiven me. I didn't feel like I was being punished. I didn't feel like, it wasn't any of that. It was I was not forgiving myself. Forgiving myself was the key to the freedom that the grace of forgiveness gives you. And then I had forgiven a lot of other people, but there was still part of me that was harboring part of it somewhere in my heart. And it wasn't that I was thinking about those particular things. It was that I couldn't even, I couldn't even think about those things without, getting the, my heart starting and like breathing heavier, and like get that feeling in my hands and my feet, that feeling, and your stomach starts churning. I mean, and I, like yesterday even, like I get a little hot-headed about it and I start cursing and calling people names and shit. But like, I don't feel that in my heart, and I don't feel it in my gut. Like, it's like, it's not really in your stomach. It's like right here. It's like right below your, below where your heart would be. That chakra gets all, and you just feel like someone punched you, right? Like, not in the sternum, but like right here. Just like, it's a horrible feeling. So, and when that kid pulled a gun on me, like, I like initially, I'll admit, I was fucking mad. I mean, I was calling him every name in the book, and then some. And it was just, it wasn't good. But for him, I feel much worse for him. Like, I know that sounds crazy, but that's how I think of it. Is, I know how much fear he's got to be living in to do something like that, and how miserable he's got to be, and how, horrible life, or what must have happened to him, or, the intuition being completely shut off. I mean, to fucking pull a gun up here. I mean, are you okay in the head? Like, obviously not, is my point. He's not okay. And so, I found myself, and I don't know this person's name. I I don't think I could identify him in a lineup. You know, I saw him so briefly. It was so fast. I mean, maybe if I saw him like right away, but like, I don't know if I'll remember that in a year. You know, I probably will, but I don't know if I could identify the car, maybe the voice, but not the face. I couldn't identify the face. But like, you know, what the fuck? Anyway, when you find yourself, you know, able to forgive things like that on the fly, and you truly transmute that energy into something that is useful, like joy or forgiveness, you know, and it's like, I mean, I'm not condoning what he did. And I'm not going to say that it's okay. It's fucking not. It's totally not fucking okay. Like, okay is a, you know, but for me, like, if he wants to, you know, let me rent space in his head, that's one thing. But me, I'm not gonna let him fucking rent space in my head. He ain't paying rent. Fuck that. You know, get the fuck out. You're evicted. And so is each and every other fucking shitty thought that I've ever thought about myself or anyone else. I'm just like, I'm over it. You know, like, I'm over that. I'm just not gonna, I'm not gonna deal with that anymore. And that's a huge part of healing. Huge part. Like, being of service to others, sometimes you can't always do something for other people, you know, like, what could I do for this kid? Nothing really. I mean, you know, do I really want to do anything for him? No. But the forgiveness, you know, or if he had shot my dog, can you imagine? Oh, right? I mean, I don't know what the chances were of him pulling the trigger, but he pointed it right at me. But I mean, like, people, I don't know, people do stupid shit like that, and they don't want to pull the trigger. But just having a gun, and it's fucking dangerous enough. I don't give a fuck. But that forgiveness much more for me. And then, like, praying for him, you know, like, I mean, I prayed for him. I just said, Lord, you need to fucking help that dude. He needs help. He's gonna hurt himself or hurt someone else with pulling a gun, just like on the fly like that. Not even, he obviously didn't even think about it. What the fuck? Like, are you serious though? Anyway, you know, and all of the other, anyway, all of the other fucking issues aside, whether there were drugs involved or not, which there probably was, you know, people don't, you know, people who don't do drugs, you know, this is the thing about, well, that's not true. That's not true. This very serious people in this world, they don't do drugs and they have a lot of guns. Usually. And they know how to use them. That's a big thing. But this kid was, you know, I mean, at least he was holding it right. He was pointing it, you know, not. Anyway, I'm sorry. I like guns personally. I do. I think they're fun. I've used them for all kinds of, you know, target practice, and it's just, and I'm a great shot too. Rifles, shotguns, pistols. I'm really good. But like, you know, so I like guns. Guns are not the problem. People are the fucking problem. That's what the problem is. And right, like, that kind of, that sounds funny because people are the only animal who uses guns. You know, dogs, cats, dolphins, they don't use guns. But, oh, I have an idea. So, we should start assembling an army of Karens now. Because when World War III hits, we're going to fucking need them. America, Karens. Yeah. Can you imagine what a fucking gaggle of Karens could do in this world? The good they could do? I mean, like, turn them to the good side, you know? God, you'd have to get them happy for that. I don't know. That sounds like quite a challenge. But I'm up for it. Yeah, that's funny. Karens and Beckys. You know, the funny thing is I kind of am a Becky. I mean, my name is Rebecca, but in that way. But, like, I use my Karen powers for good, you know? Like, shit's funny. I make fun of things more than try to get in people's way or like stop the way they want to live or whatever. Like, I don't even know what the Karen thing is. It's just so weird. I see shit on YouTube and I'm just like, what the fuck though? Like, really? Did you sit down and like think about that before you said it? No, obviously not. People are hilarious. But anyway, yes, we'll need an army of Karens for World War III, and we will fucking defeat them in the first fucking hour. If they'll want to give up, morale would be broken. Beatings will continue until morale improves. Oh shit. Anyway, love, blessings, and compassion to everyone. Take care of yourselves and take care of each other. No one's going to do it for us. And although I'm pretty sure Christ is here, I don't know if he can save us again. So get to work. And I'm saying that laughing, but like, I'm actually quite serious about that. As strange as it sounds, even to my own ears. All right, puppets. All right.